Greetings from Greece, Alex here again with another tool proposal for the blockout module. I have here a hybrid in the cutter stage without any undercuts. I always use the Store Scene button in the basic design stage. This way I can check for undercuts whenever I need. This one is already checked, but for the purpose of this demo, I will create an undercut on purpose. I will use the brush in sculpt mode to push away the surface of the cutter and introduce an undercut. Okay, that will do. Let's check for undercuts now by resetting the view with the Reset Scene button. We can confirm visually that there is an undercut here. The proper and accurate way to check for undercuts is the Mark Undercuts button, but I will skip it for this demo. Now we have to use the blockout module to eliminate the problem that we introduced. Usually, here we rotate the cutter until we find an optimal orientation, but since we have already chose the direction, what if we could just click a button to rotate the cutter to this orientation, like so? Of course, this does not work since the Reset Scene button rotates the view and not the cutter, or any other object whatsoever. What we end up doing is choosing a new insertion direction every time we use the blockout module. But there is a way. Since we have already stored the extrusion direction, we can actually use this information to rotate the cutter to the exact same orientation. To access this stored orientation, we have to unhide the scene collection from the outliner, find the scene object and select it. What happens when we select another object while in survey mode is that the rotation coordinates change to those of the currently selected object. All we have to do now is to copy each coordinate from the scene object and paste it inverted to the corresponding coordinate of the cutter. We have to invert the values since the scene object is for the rotation of the viewport, but we need to rotate the cutter, so it's the other way around. We can select the scene object from the viewport or from the outliner and start copying. One by one, the rotation of the three axes turns the cutter right back to the original direction, which actually is the optimal one. Then we can proceed as usual. My proposal is to add a button which will be enabled if the scene object is present, and when clicked, it will copy the orientation of the scene object to the object in use inverted. Like my proposal for the scene store function, this idea is also easy to implement and upgrade the usefulness of the already great blockout module. Thank you for your amazing tool, guys. Have a nice one.